NWSL Shield. You guys didn't even know if it being reached, and then obviously it was. How big is that to bring that to this organization and now have a chance to maybe be the first team to win the Shield and the championship?
Yeah, our eyes, from the beginning, our eyes have been on being our best every day in training, being our best in the way that we prepare. We take care of good weeks and try and be our best on bad weeks, and we've been very committed to doing that. And I think when you do that, good performances happen, which lead to results. We're here to do our best, work as hard as we can, and can we bring a championship back to Portland? A home playoff is so important to do that because it makes the step easier, and these fans deserve that. And I know that there's been a lot of previous coaches and players that have helped build this club. For us to be a part of this year and giving that opportunity to the fans is very cool and important. But it's more important that we perform now, and we have one game. That's all we have in front of us. We take care of the details that we have all year, and we give the fans everything we have in front of them. There's and then we go from there, and we build to the next one. So winning the Shield is a result of a lot of great, hard, quality work, and it does mean a lot. It shows that these players have been the best over 20 games in the most competitive league in the world. You look at the teams that haven't made playoffs, they're very strong teams, and we've had probably the hardest schedule, one of the hardest schedules in the league in regards to how we've dealt with at the front end and got a little bit better at the back end, and we've had a fantastic away record. That's not talent, that's not a good coaching drill, that's togetherness and character, and these players have shown that from the beginning. They've really worked hard for each other, and to bring the playoff game, to bring the Shield to Portland is very important, and we're so proud. Unfortunately, we can't celebrate. We have more that we want to achieve, and that starts from Sunday.
When you came in, obviously there was a ton of turnover, and we were all asking, how are you going to deal with so many new players, bring them together, and you said you'd be able to do it, and you did, obviously. But what can you talk about when you first came in, just how you kind of envisioned this team and how you were able to put together a group that would be able to come together quickly, would be able to find chemistry on the field despite the turnover, and have success?
The job is always easier when you have the best GM on the men's and women's side, fighting for you and helping you build the team that you want. And the biggest priority for us in keeping or bringing players here is good, the right attitude, the right mindset, the mentality, the character. Everyone is great on good days. When you're winning 2-3-0, you see the best of everyone. But what are people like when you lose, when you're on the road, you're in a bad stretch? And we wanted players that could be their best in those environments. And it's not as simple as that. You can't just bring them, find them, and they do it. You got to have a culture, and you got to have standards. And the players set those standards early. They demanded a lot from each other. But the difference between, and I've seen it throughout this season, I think the difference often is the commitment to those standards. When things are going wrong, the players and coaches start changing behaviour and start changing the way they approach things, or do they stay committed to what they've invested in and what they've held each other to. This group has done that, has done it throughout. And what's been special is whoever steps on the field, and we saw this in the first 3 or 4 games, whoever steps on, they are ready to work and give everything. And we've had a very tough transitional year, players in and out of market. We've managed to look like a team that knows what they're doing. We've looked like a team that always wants to work hard. And that's a huge credit to the staff, to the players, and our general manager, who constantly looks out the best for us in how we prepare, how we train, how we travel. So it's beginning of the year. I think the only thing I hope I said was, we're going to work hard and we're going to be a close group. And I never have looked at results and try to look too far ahead. Those two things I know we have control of. And when you take care of those two things, good things can happen. And this year they have.
Ali and a few players, Lindsay, Tobin, have talked about how everyone just seems to have the same soccer mind. They want to play the same type of soccer, and that's been able to allow people to mesh because it's the style they want to play. Was that something that you looked at when you're bringing these players in, that you wanted them to all have a certain type of style or mindset that you thought would mesh together?
Yeah, we want to have intelligent players, creative players that that know how to hurt teams when there's space, and space can pop up anywhere on a pitch. But then when there's not space, how do you break that? How do you break that pressure? How do you create and find space? And we got players that love to think ahead, that love to look 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. Great technical ability and close control, playing tight spaces. In this league, you have to be able to, you have to be fast. You have to work hard. You have to be able to get behind teams. You also have to break pressure because you see everything. We have a lot of talented players. We have a lot of intelligent players. But then again, I look across the league. The other teams have the same. They do have talent. They do have intelligence. I think that it would be a cop-out. It wouldn't be fair to say that our talent has meant this coming together, because Ali and the rest of those, they have worked too hard. They have committed too much. They have been too unselfish throughout this year for us to credit their ability. Their commitment to doing the right thing, making the right decision each day, taking care of their bodies, not going out and enjoying themselves when maybe they want, or even spending time with the team when sometimes they're exhausted and they just need to go home and go to bed. They've invested in the team and in this club, and when that happens and you've got talent, really cool things can happen, and we've started to see that. And it hasn't been there all year. You know, we grinded results all year, but we're starting to see, especially these last 4 games, you start to see the soccer that we've wanted to play.
How will that translate now here with a home game with so much at stake against Western New York, which played very well here? Yeah,
I think we've felt pressure a lot throughout this year. We played top of the table clashes earlier on in the year. You know, the last 4 games we have had our eyes on the top from the beginning, and we know every game we have the ability to win, and we have to win, and that pressure's been there. We don't focus on the result, we don't focus on those things, but there's always pressure, and there's always someone, you guys doing your good job well, someone saying we should be winning, we should be doing this, and we should be doing that. The pressure's been there. This game has pressure around it. I think we felt the same pressure throughout the whole year. We've prepared for that. But that gives us a chance not to get sucked into it, not to change, not to change our preparation, not to change our focus. We know if we're at our best offensively and defensively, we're a very good team, and we've got to focus on being that on Sunday. We also have to understand what Western New York, what threats they have, and how we can be in a position where we don't have to deal with those threats. And if we do get caught, how we deal with those threats. And we also need to make sure it's a clear picture of how we hurt them. New York is a very good team, but there's clear ways you can hurt them, and I think we've done that in patches when we've played them. You know, our objective is let's hurt them for 90 minutes, let's get at them and get into the space that there is that they leave, and give us an opportunity to be on the front foot.
Coach, do you prefer that expectation or that pressure of, you know, you're the team to beat, you're the 1 seed, that type of deal?
I honestly, even as a coach in Washington, they have a great fan base, and they expect the team to win. You know, it's a smaller fan base, but they're still committed and they're all in. Here it's a larger fan base and the expectation is still there. You know, I think at the beginning, I remember reading all the predictions, 4th, 5th, 6th, then some crazy people had 2. You know, the expectation was this was a transition year, and in a way it still has been, but we've transitioned smoothly, and this group's been committed and they've put the team first. When that happens, good performances, good results can happen. For me, it doesn't matter. It's always better if people are talking, whether it's positive or negative, because that helps grow the game. Doesn't matter what's being said outside, because we know that we can control our destiny here. We know if we prepare well and we play well, we can perform and get a result. And no one, I don't think anyone this year, anything I've seen or heard of, has put more pressure on what us, the staff, have held our standards to. We know what we're capable of doing, and this week's no different.
You guys held pace even during the Olympic break when the players went away. How are you able to build this team with more depth and bring in players outside of the Olympics that we're still going to be able to perform? Because they've always had talented national team players, but the depth this year was particularly important. Yeah, I'm so proud of everyone's commitment. I spent an hour this morning emailing Sam Lofton and Mo, Mackenzie Berryhill and Sarah Sadrazel,
and other players who have been here this year, because they've all contributed. They've all had a role. They came in, they put the team first, they helped build this culture, and it's taken everyone. At the beginning, if you remember, at the beginning, everyone wasn't sure. What we've seen these players improve a lot. The players we saw during the Olympic break that performed so well, they weren't at that level at the beginning. And that's not coaching, that's not just culture, that's environment, that's down to the player again. The player has committed here from everyone who stepped in. It was, we kept a small group, if you remember, in pre-season. We didn't want extra people in, we didn't want the message getting filtered down. We wanted that small group. There was a few times. There was one time where AD France had a field players kit on and we hit that. The roster was tight, but we needed, so much was going to change this year, and we needed a small group that was going to be committed. And for me, I don't think I've questioned ability or I've questioned someone's end product in what they're trying to do. How good a player isn't important to what, when it comes down to 11 players on the field. What is that player willing to give? What is that player willing to put in effort and focus? And from the beginning, the vibe has been so good that when the toughest games come, we will be prepared. And it wasn't at the beginning. I said it to the team at the beginning. At the very beginning, we talked about, and we used an example, if we had a really bad period right now, I don't know if we would pull together. We might push apart, and that's natural at the beginning of teams coming together. And we talked about it, and they agreed. But we knew those times were coming. Orlando away, the Olympic break, Seattle away straight after the Olympics. We lost 3-1. What do? We go and win 4 on the bounce. And even Sky Blue, it's a pressure game and we concede. We've invested a lot in preparing for those moments, and so far the players have done an amazing job at being great professionals, and that makes my job easy. When
did you know that it was something special? Was it at that Orlando away, or when did things click and you thought to yourself, this is totally working?
Every week something else happens. We had a player after Sunday's game, Sky Blue, talked to a staff member saying, they were very unhappy with their performance, and they took accountability, and they talked about why and how. It's taken 7 months to get that player to have that accountability, and that shows growth, and that shows that the culture is having an impact on everyone, and it happens every week. I think the Orlando away game, the Seattle home when we tied 0-0, the Seattle home when we won 1-0, those games, that is when everything was against us in Orlando away. We had the travel, everything you can imagine, everything that could disrupt you from having a good game happened, from the things off the field in travel and heat, and the training before. We trained for 20 minutes because the storm came through. I've been in the same situation and you lose 2 or 3-0. I've been in the same situation and you can't find a way. In that game, we found a way. They scored, and our team decided that we wasn't going to lose, and Sinclair led the pack there. I think she was the one, and I grabbed her after, and everyone did, but Tobin came off injured. Everything that could go wrong. When you win those games, it shows commitment and it shows togetherness. That was a big part, but it hasn't stopped. It's happened every week. We continue to see the result of players being unselfish and wanting to get better. It continues.
Mark, you've obviously gone to coaching pretty young, and you're here pretty young too. At this point, what was it that made you want to get in coaching? What were kind of the people, the coaching philosophies that you maybe looked up to from other coaches that helped drive how you've approached this job?
I was a very average player, and I have a drive to be the best, and sometimes you can't beat reality. You can't beat what has been given to you. I was an average player, but I wanted to be the best. I love soccer. I love the game. I think when I was still playing and I was still pretty good, I started helping a team, and I enjoyed it. The passion to help someone, the passion to see someone do well. This year we're having a great season. The team is looking good. Nothing is more rewarding than seeing Hayley Rasso, who got released and waived, and now is looking so exciting. Meg Morris, who's out injured, who's had a rough journey for a couple of years and almost broke our starting 11 just before she got injured. I think we have one of the best teams in the league, and this is the best league in the world, so we're right up there. And Meg Morris, who couldn't find a team for 2 years, almost broke our starting 11. I love seeing people get better. I think Tobin is having an amazing season. Sink's having an amazing season. You go through the whole group, a lot of players are playing well, and it's cool to enjoy good performance and results. Nothing is more rewarding than seeing players do well. And the players, but the flip side is, I can't stand when players are not doing well. And I'm not talking, we might win a game and someone has not performed well. And I know that's tough on the players sometimes. They tell me to chill out and calm down, but that drives, I got in this to help. I got in this to support, and I got in this to see people succeed. And it doesn't always work out. And so far we got a lot of players playing well, and there's such a big reward. That's the reason. The reason is let's help people.
Anything else?
It's about 20 minutes.
Thank
guys.
you.
Just